Good morning. Who is live? Let's take a few minutes for other people to join us. So I'm streaming live today on two different platforms, on TikTok and on Instagram. So if anybody has joined live, I think it's 12 o'clock already. First of all, I need you to confirm that you can hear me clearly. Today we're going to be having the second edition of our Sunday morning live teaching on TikTok. Instagram, we have been having it for a while. And today's teaching, if you saw the teaching for today, we're talking about African spirituality and the concept of sin. African spirituality and the concept of sin. What does African spirituality have to say about sin? You know, coming from your previous Abrahamic religions, you have learned a lot of things about sin. So we need to know what African spirituality says about it. And what does Ifa say about it? All right, let me do a little bit of adjustment on Instagram and see what's happening. So if you are live, please, you are kindly just let me know that you can hear me, clearly, so that we know that we are doing the right thing. Can you hear me? If you can hear me clearly, please just wave or just, drop a comment so that I know what I am doing. So today we are talking about African spirituality and the concept of sin. What does Ifa say about sin? Is it the same thing that the Abrahamic religion has said about sin that Ifa has to say about sin? Sorry, one or two adjustments here and we'll be good. What's happening? Okay, I think we're good right now. Okay, so you can hear me. Now let's come from, first of all, let's start with this. In Africa, we don't have religions. What we have in Africa is spirituality. We don't have religions in Africa. And once again, Ifa is not a religion. Ifa is an embodiment of knowledge that encompasses so many things that includes religion and spirituality. Now, that being said, African spirituality takes different forms based on the roots that that form of spirituality come from. Meaning that in Yoruba land, we have a slightly different form of spirituality. The Igbos in Nigeria have a slightly different form of spirituality. Same with the Ghanaians, those in across the coast of West Africa, up to Kenya, all the way to South Africa. We all have, some slight differences here and there in our spirituality. But the truth is, the root of our spirituality is pretty much the same, just a little diversity here. So that is why I will be taking African spirituality as a whole and then define sin, the concept of sin from there. But we'll be taking reference from Ifa. Now, here's another thing that I will need us to understand. I received some questions during the week and I'll be answering those questions. And one of the most repeated questions that I have received is, can other people from other countries, other races, cultures, and tradition, can they practice Ifa, or can they take advantage of Ifa? Can they learn Ifa? Now, I don't know what you have heard about Ifa before, but please move closer. And let's change this idea that Ifa is strictly for the Yoruba people. Ifa is an embodiment of knowledge that Eledumare, the divine, the supreme being, gave to the whole world through the Yoruba people. It was given through the Yoruba people to the entire world, the entire universe. Please share this live video. Somebody needs to see it. Your friends needs to see it. So whether you're on Instagram or TikTok, share this live streaming and let other people see it. Give it as much likes and, what have you. I don't know how you guys do it on TikTok, but I heard there's a lot going on with live streaming on TikTok. So just do all the good stuff you can do. Everybody needs to hear this. So Ifa is an embodiment of knowledge that Eledumare, the supreme being, the divine being, the source, gave to the whole world through the Yoruba people. We are the custodians of Ifa, but Ifa is not limited to us. Ifa is not limited to the Yoruba people. Is that okay? So everybody and anybody can be a part of Ifa, irrespective of where your ancestral root is from. Because I have a lot of people in the diaspora who says, "Oh, I think my ancestral roots is from Ghana. I think it's from Togo. Is it still okay to practice Ifa?" Yes, it's okay. Even if you are Chinese, if you are Hindu, wherever it is that you come from, as long as you can comprehend Ifa, you can be a part of Ifa. And that is why everybody can find their breath Odu, that Odu Ifa that breath you, that shows you about your life, that shows you about your future, about your path in life. Everybody can find it in Ifa, irrespective of whether you're Yoruba or not, irrespective of choosing another religion. Ifa is not bothered about that. Now, Ifa is not a religion, but Ifa contains religion. There is a particular Eseifa that speaks solely on the Islamic religion. There is another Odrifa that speaks solely on the Christian religion. What we practice in Africa as a form of spirituality, it is inside Ifa, is there. So Ifa is not limited to whatever religion that you have. Now, that being said, let's talk about what the concept of sin is. I'm a teacher, so I would always go from the things that you know to the things that you don't know, from the known to the unknown. So sin, as it is defined from where you are coming from the Abrahamic religion or from the laws, every country has their own laws, and going against those laws becomes a sin. From that concept, sin is anything that you do that negates a law and a standard. Now, there is a law that is applicable to a group of people, a, a society, whatever it is that you have. Once you go against those laid down rules and laws, then you are committing a sin. So, the best way or the first way to define what a sin is to understand what the rules, the laws, the regulations, and the bylaws are. Now, we're talking about sin now in the concept of human life, right? So, in the concept of human life, what are those rules and regulations that have been stated for human life that we do not go against? At what point do we go against it and it is counted to us as sin? Now, move closer. Let me tell you something. There is no set of rules and regulations that is given to everybody, like stated somewhere, that applies to everybody. Now, there are fundamental rules and regulations which has to do with life, human life, which is you should not take your own life, you should not take the life of somebody else, right? You should not take something that doesn't belong to you, and all of those good stuffs here and there. Now, those are basic rules and regulations and laws that has to do with life, human life, the existence of life, the birth of life. But when it comes to humanity, when it comes to you as an individual and me as an individual, there is no one rule that applies to everybody. Now, if there is no one rule that applies to everybody, how then do we define sin that applies to everybody? We're going from the known to the unknown. So let's take, for instance, what's it called now? The 10 Commandments. Those of you that are coming from the Abrahamic religion, you are familiar with the 10 Commandments, even if you have never been to a church before. The 10 Commandments has stuff like thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not have a graven image, thou shalt not call the name of the Lord your God in vain, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, and so many other things. If you look at all of those things together, every one of them, it is centered around two things: the way you relate to God. Thou shalt not have any other God before me. Thou shalt not have any graven image. All of those ones is centered around your relationship with the divine. The other parts of it, don't commit adultery, don't kill, don't steal, honor your father and your mother, is centered around your relationship with other people. Now, that 10 commandments that you are used to, that defines what you think is good and bad in your head, and every other thing that comes out of it, is limited to two things: your relationship with the divine and your relationship with people. Now, if you look at all of those 10 commandments and the other stuffs that you have heard, don't be jealous, don't be this, don't be that. See, nobody can state all of those things down. Do you know why? Because every commandment that you have is centered around just two things, and that is the love for the divine, the love for God, and the love that you have for your fellow human beings. Two entities now. The first entity is the divine, Eledumare, God. The second entity are the other people outside of you. The way you relate with those two entities per time is what will define the laws that is guiding human life and what will define whether you have committed a sin or not. Now, if you understand that, you would understand that your relationship with the divine and your relationship with human being, it varies per time, per person. And this is why I said last week that sin, the concept of sin, is not a general concept that somebody can define to you by a standard or a certain set of rules. It is an individual thing per time. Let me break it down. When I say it is an individual thing, I mean that you can do something and everybody will look at it and say it is wrong. And Eledumare himself will look at it and say you are wrong. And I can do the exact same thing and it would not be counted as wrong for me. Take, for instance, let's go to the physical courtroom. There are certain things that people do, and the judge will look at it like, based on the evidences that we have, this man is discharged and acquitted. Another person is in the exact same situation, and the judge says, based on the evidences that we have, this man is sentenced to XYZ imprisonment, or he could even be sentenced to hanging. The same circumstances, but different evidences and different people. That is exactly how it works. And the attempt of Abrahamic religion to define sin as one straight jacket fits everybody is the confusion that those religions are having right now. Other religions, aside from African spirituality, that is one of the basic confusions that they have. Because you read through those holy books, and then you see that somebody did something, and another person did the exact same thing, and God counted it for righteousness for this person, and he condemned this other person. Then it begins to look as if, oh, God has favorites. There's nothing you can even do. He just decides what he wants to do. He's confused. No, the divine is not confused. Eledumare is not confused. In fact, the God that the Bible is referring to is not confused. It is the people that have chosen to build their own logical reasoning around it. They are the ones that are confused, and they are the ones that have created a confusion, which is what African spirituality does not do, which is what Ifa does not do. Ifa doesn't give you a straight jacket to life. Ifa gives everybody his own individual jacket per time. You see something that you will do today, and it would align with your life today. You can do that same thing in 5 years' time, and it will be counted as wrong, and you would have negative experience of it. The same thing done by the same person at different times. Now, you would understand why somebody like David in the Bible, if all those stories are anything to go by, we looked at him as he was a murderer at a point, he was an adulterer at a point, yet the supreme God of the Bible called David a man after his own heart. Have you ever wondered why? Or let's take the wonderful story of Abraham, if it is anything to go by. Why am I mentioning this? Yes, we are in African spirituality, but we are coming from the known to the unknown. Let me explain to you from something you are familiar with. Then you will be able to understand the unfamiliar terrain. So let's go back to the wonderful story of Abraham, if that story was true. Abraham was at a certain point in his life where he was going with his wife Sarah, and a king looked at Sarah and he wanted to have his way with Sarah. Abraham introduced Sarah to the king as his sister. I mean, what is wrong in picking, she's your sister, I can pick her as a wife? But a warning was sent to the king. If you try it, you will die. Now, who is supposed to be at fault? The person that lied initially about his wife. He lied initially. But do you know why it was not counted for him as sin? And that other man will have been held responsible for the sin, because the reason he lied was to protect himself and to protect her. You see the evidences that is taken to the court of law now. It is lying. Lying is wrong, right? Let me paint another scenario to you. Do you know that there's certain times that telling the truth can destroy an entire people and an entire nation? There is a pregnant woman that you know who has high blood pressure during her pregnancy. Then you see her husband in a hotel with another woman, and she's calling you on the phone asking you, oh, how's everything, this and this. My husband has been away for 2 days, or we don't even know where he is. Or are you going to pick up the phone and respond to her and tell her that you saw her husband in a hotel with a man just because you are trying to be a good Christian and you want to tell the truth to a pregnant woman that is hypertensive? In that situation, at that time, the truth that you will tell is a sin, because that other woman can hear it on the phone and drop dead immediately. So you see why there is no one straight jacket fits all in this thing. Now, how exactly does African spirituality see the concept of sin? Anything and everything you do outside of love, your love for the divine, your love for Olodumare, your love for the people around you, and your love for yourself, anything you do outside of the concept of love part time is a sin. Now, let's break it down. If you love God, you have a loyal and a faithful love towards Olodumare, towards your ancestors, towards the Orishas, towards your form of spirituality. There are certain things you will not do. You will not have any other God aside from Olodumare if you love God. You will not make any graven image that is different from what Olodumare has instructed if you love him. You will not call the name of Olodumare in vain. You will not stand there and outrightly be lying, and you'll be swearing by the Orishas, knowing that what you are doing is wrong. You will not do it. If you have a reverential and a fearful love for Olodumare, you will not do it. Now, when it comes to your relationship with the people around you, if you love them and your actions is coming out of the place of love, you see all the iwapele that we have stated in Ifa, you will do it without blinking. Humility will come out of it. Loyalty will come out of it. You will not lie to them when you know it's going to hurt them. You will not steal from them. You will not sleep with your neighbor's wife. You will not commit adultery in whichever form it comes. You will not envy them. You will not be jealous of them. You will not talk behind their back negatively. You will not instigate people against them. All of those things, is it possible for you to love somebody and do them? No, you can't love somebody and do all those things against them. You can't love somebody and plot to kill him. You cannot love somebody and backbite and be jealous of them, be envious of them, laugh in their face and gossip badly behind them. If you love them, when you get into places where their services are needed, you will mention their name or their names. Anything you do that does not proceed out of love. That's the simple definition of a sin. And it is per person per time. Why does the courthouse have something that sounds like murder and then self-defense? Now, if somebody has murdered another individual out of self-defense, and there are evidences to show that, despite the fact that in the two situations, another human life has been lost. One is justified, discharged, and acquitted. The other one is condemned and sentenced to imprisonment. Same situation. But the circumstances that surrounded it, somebody is trying to hurt you. And in the process of defending yourself, out of the love you have for yourself, the person could get hurt. Evidence show that they came for you first and you are defending yourself, despite the fact that the end game was still somebody passed. Do you understand it now? So you see, stop all these things that you are doing with. We're not supposed to wear jewelry. It's a sin to wear jewelry. It's a sin not to cover your hair. It's a sin to wear miniskirt. Smoking is a sin. Having boyfriend is a sin. Premarital sex is a sin. All of those things you just stated now. Tell me, how does it hurt you, hurt God, or hurt somebody else? Do you know why you will not smoke? Because you are hurting your health. Not because one pastor somewhere said it is a sin. Some people will say, oh, I quit smoking when I became a Christian. You are foolish. If you needed to become a Christian to know that smoking can damage your lungs, then there's foolishness worrying you. If somebody says, I stopped going out at night recklessly and drinking to stupor because I became a Christian, it's foolishness that is worrying you. If you do not understand the damage that excessive alcohol is doing to your system, and drinking to stupor in a public place, and crawling out at night, especially in a country that is not secured, if you needed somebody to come and tell you that, you have a problem. If you need somebody to give you a set of rules and regulations to know that putting on jewelry does not have anything that is doing to you, to God, or to anybody, and you're allowing somebody to cajole you into believing that this jewelry that we have made to beautify ourselves is the reason you not go to heaven. Please explain to me, how does you using jewelry, how does it hurt the divine? How does it hurt you yourself? How does it hurt the person that is seeing you? What exactly is the sin? Sit down and break it down. Now, there's always one interesting fact that I ask people when we are talking about the concept of sin. The 10 commandments has, thou shalt not commit adultery, boldly written. It did not include fornication. Have you ever wondered why it does not include fornication? Have you ever wondered why fornication has been a, dicey thing, but adultery, straight up is just wrong. And here is what it is. Adultery is that sexual intimacy that happens between one or two people that are in a committed relationship, usually the concept of marriage. You are both married or one party is married. We're referring to the party that is married. That party that has made a pronouncement of commitment to another individual who is their spouse or their spouses, in case of monogamy or polygamy. They have made that declaration before the divine, before Olodumare. And they've made the declaration maybe in a courthouse or before friends and family. A declaration has been made. You have entered into a covenant and an oath to remain faithful to one person or a certain number of persons, as the case may be. That person is expecting loyalty from you. You are expected to give them loyalty. The moment you break it, you are breaking a covenant of loyalty. You promise somebody, I will be faithful to you. Then you go out under a law before God and man. Then you go out and break it. It is not out of love. Remember what our definition of sin is. it is not out of love. You cannot love your wife and go ahead and cheat on her. Now, what people call fornication is sexual engagement that takes place between two unmarried couple. There is no covenant. There is no exchange of oath. No vows has been exchanged. Nothing was said before the divine, before Olodumare. Nothing was said before your friends and family. Nothing was said before the law. As far as everybody is concerned, you are just friends. There is no commitment between the two of you. You are just two individuals, separate and free, that decided out of free will and with consent to engage in sexual activities. You are doing it out of the love you have for each other. You are not hurting anybody anywhere. Do you understand me right now? The moment you enter into a relationship and you look into the face of the person you are dating and you say, I want to be faithful to you. Now, that is even a concept for another day. There is no such thing under any religion, any culture, any law in any country that binds two unmarried couple together. So you see, you and your boyfriend that you sat down in your house to exchange vows by yourself under your roof, you are both deceiving yourself. Because under no religion, let me say it again, under no culture, under no law, under no tradition or spirituality, is two unmarried couples seen as one. There is nothing binding you. So there is no such thing as my boyfriend cheated on me. There is no such thing. There is no vow between the two of you. If you want to be, how do I put it? If you want to be exclusive and the two of you want to have a binding, so that in case somebody steps out, go and get married. Go and get married. Whatever you people are doing between your boyfriend and your girlfriend relationships, and you are telling yourself that there is some unspoken rules and regulations, you are deceiving yourself. It doesn't exist anywhere. If you have proof that there is a culture, a tradition, a religion, a law that binds two unmarried couple together because they say, I want to be your boyfriend, you want to be my girlfriend, please let me know. We are all learning. But as far as I know today, December 2024, it doesn't exist anywhere. Some countries have what they call common law partners. Common law partners have been identified and registered as common law partners, not because you are living under the same roof. I moved in with my boyfriend. It is not regarded under any law, any culture, any tradition as a committed relationship. It doesn't matter whether you like what I'm saying or not. Now, let's move out of there. When two people decide that they are single, they are both single, purely and totally single, and they decide to join their bodies together and engage in sexual activities, is their business. So there is no law or culture or tradition that says it should not happen, as long as they are adults and there is consent. You see, that idea that they gave to you, it doesn't have founding. There is no culture or tradition that makes it a law for one man or one woman to remain celibate till wedding night. It's just an idea that we built. Please open all the 256 Odrifa and show me where it's written there that if a man or a woman is not a virgin, they are not entitled to get married, or they have contradicted one law. Mm-mm. The idea of people staying celibate till they got married, let me tell you where it comes from in African spirituality. Now, the concept of sexual activities in African spirituality is more than just a physical concept. It is a spiritual concept. In African spirituality, sex is spiritual. Whether even in African spirituality or not, sex is spiritual. The reason why African spirituality will not have you, or spirituality as a whole, will not have you bob from one person to the next and to the next and to the next, is because when there is a union of two people in sex, a lot of things are exchanged. energies, spirits, powers, destinies are merged together and exchanged. If you understand that concept, you will not, what will keep you away from hopping from one bed to another is not because it's a sin. It is the consequences of it that will keep you away. Now, your name is Shegun, and your name is Shegun, and you are meeting with Kate. The energies, the powers, the vibes, the all of those good stuff you have, good or bad, that is in her and in you. The moment you are together in a sexual practice, whether you use a condom or not, condom does not protect you from energies and vibes. Hold that thought. The moment it glues, you have exchanged energies, you have exchanged spirits, you have exchanged vibes. Energies, spirits, and powers that you cannot control, that you know nothing about, you have taken it into yourself. It has mixed up with what you have. There are people out there who have spiritual detectors. That's what I call it. They are able to detect men and women with great star and great aj. The moment they get into a sexual engagement with them, they start to drain them of their aj, of their star, of their destiny. Sex is the fastest way to do that. Sexual engagement and intercourse is the fastest way to drain somebody of their aj, of their spiritual wealth, of their spiritual powers, which is why if they want to bring down a mighty man, the first suggestion is to send a woman to him. If they want to mess up the destiny of a great woman, the first suggestion is to send a sexual partner to her. If you understand that, that is the reason you will keep away from random sex. You will keep away from premarital sex until you are sure of the person you are going to sleep with. It's not because it's a sin. It is not a sin. As long as you have not exchanged vows with anybody, there is nobody you are hurting. As long as there is consent, there's nobody you are hurting. But the implications of it, which is why I always tell people, religion does not tell you the root cause of things. Religion just stays on the surface and gives you rules and regulations that is always almost unrealistic. And they just tell you, don't do this, do this. But when you start to break it down, it doesn't make sense. So the next time you are going to hop in bed with somebody, please find a way to be sure the energies, the powers, and the spirits you are about to welcome into yourself. So many of you are carrying, if they weigh you on the scale right now, you are weighing 10,000 kg. 8,000 after that 10,000 kg is something that you have carried from different places that is messing with your own destiny. And that is why a lot of people will advise, just stay celibate until you are sure of the person you want to get married to. It's not because it is a sin. It's because you are protecting yourself from random energies, random spirits, random vibes that you don't need. It's because there are sexual predators out there, spiritual predators, who are ready to drain you of every good thing that you have for an exchange of a 5 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours pleasure. That is the reason you should keep yourself away from it. And this also applies, unfortunately, applies to people that are even in committed relationships. The fact that you are a faithful wife to that unfaithful man, it does not protect you on the basis. It doesn't even protect you from an STD if the man has it. Now we're talking spirituality. It does not protect you from the spirits and the energies and the vibes that man has gone to carry from where he's coming from. So unfortunately, even partners that are faithful are not automatically protected from the wrong choices that their other partners have made. You see why sex is not even about sin anymore right now. I was speaking to a woman in the course of the week. By virtue of my work, I get to talk to a lot of people based on their different areas of their life, right? So I was talking to a woman in the course of the week, and she said, my husband loves me. I know how much he loves me, and he's not going to cheat on me. And I told her, I said, the reason your husband is not going to cheat on you is because he loves. She said, yes, I trust him. It doesn't matter where he goes. He loves me. He will not cheat on me. I told her, I said, you're in trouble. No, you're in trouble. If the reason your partner is going to cheat on you is because they're not going to cheat on you, is because they love you. Just because they love you is the reason they will not cheat on you. You're in trouble. Because there is no human being that is capable of loving another human being 24/7. Sit your husband down and let him understand the meaning of sex. Let him understand what happens during an intercourse. Let him know that for every random woman or every random man that he or she has to be intimate with, powers, energies, and spirits are being exchanged. If the person is carrying negative vibe, they automatically carry it. Let that be the reason he will not cheat. Let the fact that he is protecting the great star that he has and he doesn't want any strange thing to come and mess up with his life is the reason that he's not going to cheat. If his love for you is the only reason he's not going to cheat, you're in trouble. Because so many men have cheated on the women that they love. And if he cheats on you and he has cheated on you with one girl that has been sent from some spiritual forces to target certain things in life, and he has taken it into himself, he will pass it into you, despite the fact that he loves you and you think he's not going to cheat, and he cheated, and both of you found yourself in that situation. Life as you know it will end. You will now start to run after one trouble or the other that you don't know where it came from. 5 minutes of enjoyment. They told you that it's sin. That is why a lot of you do it. Because they told you that it is just a sin. So the moment you do it, like every other sin, you say, God forgive me. Astaghfirullah. And you think it takes it away. It doesn't take shit away. I'm sorry to announce to you. I'm sorry for that choice of word. It doesn't take nothing away. You will close your eyes and you will ask God for forgiveness. Then you will wake up and those spirits and energies that you have carried from 5 minutes of enjoyment, it is still there. Then you will have to come to a spiritualist to start to now ask if, this is the problem. I don't know where it started from. This and this. I just noticed it was when I met one person and I did not want to do it. Oh, it was a careless one night stand. Blah, 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 blah. Then you now start to do it to enable to get out of the problem. And your wife, who did not engage in that sexual activity with you, or you, the husband, that you did not engage in that activity with your wife, you become a part of it. That is what sex is. It is more than just a sin. So if you understand that, that is why they encourage everybody to remain celibate. You are a virgin, your husband is a virgin, you get married as virgin. You understand the concept of sexual activities. You have never had it with anybody. She has never had it with anybody. Both of you stay together because you are protecting this ori that Eledumare gave to you, that you are coming to succeed with in this life. And the two of you stay like that. You see that you have controlled external issues as much as you can. It's not because it's a sin, it's because you are protecting yourself. So the concept of sin, let's go back to it. Anything that you do outside of love is a sin. And you and I both know when we do it. We don't need anybody to give us rules and regulations. You know it. You know when you are doing something out of selfishness, out of hate, out of anger. You know when you do things that is not out of love. You see, the moment your spirit indicates that you are doing something out of love, it has become a sin for you. It doesn't matter whether it is written in the Quran or in the Bible or in anything that you carry around. It doesn't matter whether they mentioned it to you in your religious organization. Anything you do outside of love, as far as African spirituality is concerned, is a sin. Now, let's take this example. A lot of people usually ask me, all these things we do in African spirituality, sacrifices here and there, people are doing this, people are doing all those things, and they believe that it is not godly, they believe that anything that involves animal sacrifice is not godly. And the question that I ask them is this: do you kill animals to make use of the skin on their body as leather, to make use of their wool to make clothes, to make use of their hoof, their horns for some, historic decoration. They say yes. I said, why is that right? Oh, because it's for a good cause. Because we need clothing on our back. I said exactly. Itutuanebo is for a good cause. Those animals, if I don't kill them for Itutuanebo, somebody will kill them for birthday, and somebody will kill them to eat meat, and somebody will still kill them to remove the skin on their body to make leather, and somebody will still kill them for one reason or the other. As long as the reason you are doing it is out of love, you are feeding your orishas out of love, that is the reason you are doing it, then it becomes acceptable. The idea of sacrifice, I know a lot of you that are coming from Abrahamic religion, you struggle with the idea of sacrifice. But you know what is funny? Is that the two major Abrahamic religions we have practicing in Africa, those two religions are built on the concept of sacrifice. Christianity, for one, is built on the concept that a whole human being was sacrificed for you to get salvation. A whole human being. A human being. Ifa is not asking you to sacrifice human being, and you are condemning Ifa from now till next year. Yet the religion that you hold so dearly require that a whole human being be sacrificed. And you think killing a dog to Ogu is your problem. You don't know the color of your problem. Islam, the other religion that is the other Abrahamic religion that is most widely practiced in Africa, has this annual thing that they do. In Yoruba land, we call it Ileya. I don't really know much about Islam, so I can't really say so much about it. But they have this annual thing that they do, that they kill a ram. I shall know it's ram because that time of the year, ram is always expensive. They kill it and they shed the blood for some religious or spiritual reason. And then you point at African spirituality practitioners and see they are committing a sin when they sacrifice to Ogun and Shongo and Oya. Help me make it make sense. No, that's not the sin. The sin is when the reason you are sacrificing that thing is to achieve a cause that would cause pain and hurt for somebody else, and it is not done out of the place of love. Do people sacrifice animals, take a tutu and ebo, targeted for wickedness? Yes, they do. I'm an African spiritualist, and I will tell you that there are so many knowledge of African spirituality that can be twisted negatively. Are there people that do it? Yes. Is it right? No. Is that what Ifa encourages us to do? No. Every Etutu and Ebo that is instructed from Ifa, it is to bring a solution to a human being that is going through life's challenges in different form that it comes. And then somebody is trying to tell me that there is someone in the hospital who is in the ER and needs blood, and another human being is allowed to take out of their blood and give to save somebody's life. But you cannot share the blood of a dog and a goat and a chicken to change somebody's destiny or to save somebody's life. Let us break these things down. Take away the mental bias that you have been given. Take it away and learn simple English. How is that wrong? I've seen a lot of people tell me, I love Ifa, I want to practice Ifa, but please, anything that involves animal sacrifice, I don't want to be involved. And then I ask them a simple question. If your daughter or your family member, God forbid, is involved in an accident and they lose blood, and they go to a blood bank, will you take blood from a blood bank to save them? Yes. Why? Oh, because I want to save a life. So what's the problem when you come to Ifa and they say, save your life? Or fix that problem and shed the blood of a dog or a chicken or a goat? How is that a problem? How can you do the first one and have a problem with the second one? Remove the bias that has been put there. and understand the fact that there is no sin involved in it. I hear people also say this, oh, yes, in the other Abrahamic religion, the sacrifice has been done once and for all. We are going to break that down today. The sacrifice of Jesus on the cross of Calvary has been done once and for all. God needed to do that ultimate sacrifice, and everything has ended. Now, since the day that Jesus died on the cross, and you have accepted Jesus, please tell me one thing, one challenge in your life that has ended. Just one. I just want to know. One. Is it sickness that just went away from you and did not come back again? Is it financial challenges that just magically went away? Is it marital challenges that just magically went away? Or is there still a need for you to constantly be praying and constantly be applying that blood? If there is a need for you to still constantly be praying about circumstances and situations in life, then there was no once and for all. Don't deceive yourself. If you say once and for all, I go to the market to purchase this item, and they say there are instrumental payments, subsequent payments, payments that occur over and over again, and they say there is a one and for all payment, and I make a payment one and for all, and I take this thing home, do I still need to still be going back to them to pay for something, to ask for something, to to make payment for something, or to clear an outstanding debt? No. Once and for all means it is done and is over, is done and dusted, is my own. I don't have any business with payments again as far as this thing is concerned. But there is no such thing. There is no religion that has a once and for all fix for anything. Every challenge of life, let's take financial challenges as one. Christians, the best of them, still experience financial challenges. Muslims, the best of them, still experience financial challenges. Ifa devotees, the best of them, still experience financial challenges. Because in this life that we are, there is nothing that fixes anything once and for all. They lie to you. Accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and everything becomes new. Do one thing. Some of you are even coming to Ifa. They told me that immediately I do my Ishefa, everything just becomes new. Immediately I do my Itefa, everything becomes new. I'm going to that. It's a lie. Life is a continuous process, which is why we say, bí àná ṣe rí, ọ̀la ò ní rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ló mú babaláwo dífá ojoojúmọ́. The way yesterday is, tomorrow is not like that. That's why an Ifa priest will do his divination every five days. In fact, these days is every day. You see that situation you fixed yesterday, and you have fixed it. Your spouse, your father, your mother, your children can take decision tomorrow that will dig up that same situation again. That's life. That's the reality of this life. So you see that Jesus died to save you from your sin 10 years ago, Abi, how many 2,000 years ago, and you accepted him 10 years ago. You will still ask for forgiveness for sin tomorrow. That's what we are all doing, because you will still sin tomorrow. You're a human being. He became poor that we might become rich. You will still pray for money on Sunday, 1st of January. Some of you will still pray for money. Let me check what's happening on TikTok. I'm using a back camera on TikTok. Let me check what's happening there, if we are still on and doing good. Okay, we're still good on TikTok. Sorry, I had to shift my camera. I hope you can see me. I'm using the back camera, so I can't really see what's going on there. You will still come back and fix that problem. God protects me. I'm covered by the blood of whatever. Protected from every one thing. Yeah. You will still buy security camera, and you will still enter into bulletproof car, and you will still pray tomorrow that this next journey you are going to make, God should still protect you. And we are all still doing it every day, all of us. Life is a journey. There is no religion that has a fix for everything in life. They are deceiving you. The only thing that Ifa promises you is knowledge every step of the way. You are aware of where you are going. You are aware of the right and wrong choice to make, and you decide to make the wrong choice. If you decide to make the right choice, sorry. If in any event you make the wrong choice or somebody makes the wrong choice on your behalf, Ifa teaches you how to fix it. That's real life. That is real life, not the lies that they told you. That's the reality of life. Let me see how many minutes we have gone. That's the reality of life. So after they have told you, made you wonderful promises, they come to you to share pamphlets and they say, the moment you become born again, everything becomes new. I don't have, see, let me explain this to you. I do not have a problem with other religions. This is not a competition with any other religion. No, this is a platform to share the truth. Are there people, I mean, okay, let's even break this down. I think some of you are joining me for the first time and you probably haven't heard previous teachings that I have made. How do I define spirituality and religion? Now, first of all, religion is that man-made institution that was built around a form of spirituality. Religion is the man-made institution that was built around a form of spirituality. Excuse me. Let me just do this. 1 minute. Let me do this. Coming. Trying to see how we can flip this. Trying to see how we can flip this. Is it flippable? Okay. I'm not sure if it's flippable, but if it is flippable, I will find a way to flip it. But since it's not, let's just continue. I will take the questions. Those of you on TikTok, I will take your questions in a bit. Just hold on, please. I'll take your questions in a bit. So, religion is the institution or the organization that is built around spirituality. Spirituality is the way a group of people, either in the same geographical area, sharing the same language, the same culture, whatever defines that group of people, spirituality is the way they relate with the spiritual, the way they relate with the spirit, the way they relate with the divine, the supreme being, God, the universe, whatever nomenclature you want to use for it. Spirituality is the way a group of people relate with the spirit. That's just what it is. Religion is what human being now build around that spirituality. So there is a spirituality of the Jews and Hebrew people that Christian religion was built around it. There is a spirituality of the people in the Middle East that Islam religion was built around it. There is a spirituality of the Yoruba people that Isheshe was built around it. What is Isheshe? Isheshe is the combination of two words. Ishe is the way we do as our things. She is where we come from. Ibita ati shewa. So the way we do spirituality from the place we come from, that is what Isheshe is. Now, there is the way we do that thing. That's Yoruba spirituality. But in Africa, we have not built religion around it. That is why you cannot say there's a religion that is practiced in Kenya or in South Africa or in Igbo land or in Yoruba land. We just have spirituality. That's what we have. But those other people have succeeded in building religion around it. Now, every form of spirituality is valid, and there is no form of spirituality that supersedes another form of spirituality. Listen to that again. Every form of spirituality is valid, and there is no form of spirituality that supersedes another one. You cannot leave Yoruba land and go to China and tell them that your own form of spirituality is better than their own. Your own form of spirituality is right, and their own form of spirituality is wrong. It doesn't make sense. Because spirituality is the way that they have decided to connect with the divine, according to their culture, their tradition, their religion, and their language. So you know what they did with Christianity and Islam? They built a structure around it and called it religion. And they decided to sell that idea to the whole world under the guise of our own form of spirituality is the best and it is the truth. Oh, and you have to buy into it. Your own is wrong, your own is trash, our own is the truth, buy it. That is summary of what they did. So the moment you understand that spirituality is what was given to a group of people, that's the reason I am encouraging you. Whether you are going to church or going to mosque, find out how spirituality was given to your own people. At least find out and know it. Do yourself that favor, find out, know it. What are you afraid of? They've told you in church that the moment you learn about African spirituality, boom, you will just enter into hellfire. They are deceiving you. They don't want to know. What is your fear in knowledge? Knowledge is supposed to be empowering. Ifa is not, there is nothing in African spirituality that gives us an instruction to go and evangelize and go and bring people and cajole people and convince people and be checking on people. Why didn't we see you yesterday? Why didn't you come back? We don't have it. Why? No, explain to me why. What was the need in trying to desperately convince people to believe in a form of spirituality, to believe in their own form of spirituality? The day you need to connect with the divine, you will look for it yourself. All of you, 10, 20 years ago, that your father and your mother used to go to one village to go and look for one baba and go to one mountain to go and look for something. Did anybody send them invitation letter? No. The day that problem came, the day that unanswered question came, and they needed to seek solution and answers, they went there themselves. Nobody needs to cajole anybody into connecting with the divine. The only people you are under an obligation to teach and to guide into spirituality are the minor that you have in your life, the children. They are minor. You are the one that is supposed to guide them aright. At that time, they are your responsibility. You have an obligation to them. Nobody has an obligation to go and be cajoling a grown-up human being into, come and find the way. This is the way. Come and accept this. Come and pray 5 times a day. And then you will now carry microphone. And you not allow other people to sleep. 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. How do I pick? How do I have this one? And I say, oh, I picked the best. You pick the best because there are options. What is your fear? Find out these things. So I was defining spirituality. Don't let's digress. Spirituality is the way that the divine connects with a certain group of people. Now let's take an example. I love to use this example. Take, for example, that we have Mr. Smith, Mr. John Smith. Mr. John Smith is a father to his children. He's a husband to his wife. He's a son to his mother and his father. He's a neighbor to his neighbors. He's an employer to his employees. He's a business partner to his business partner. He's a friend to his friends, and he's a stranger to the people that don't know him. Now, every one of them have a different, unique, and dynamic relationship with Mr. John Smith. His wife has a wonderful relationship with him. His daughter's relationship with him is different from his son's relationship, despite the fact that both of them are children. Imagine that at the place of work where Mr. John Smith is the employer, he does not joke with his employees. He's very strict. But to his daughter, he is fun-loving. They just roll on the floor together, play all the games together, and she sleeps up in her father's arms. Then the employee comes to define Mr. John Smith as, that man is strict. He's wicked. He's so mean. He doesn't even have any smile. No joy at all. And the daughter is saying, no, 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 that's not my father. Mr. John Smith, my dad. No, that's not my dad. My dad is the most loving and caring and wonderful man in the world, and this and that. Are we defining the same person? They have a different relationship with the same person. And both relationships are valid. Both relationships are valid. The day the employee leaves the house and he comes to, leaves the office, and he comes to the house and he sees the way Mr. John Smith and his daughter relate and they laugh and they joke around, he would realize, whoa, this is another part of him. So if I want to feel love around Mr. John Smith, I should come to his house more often. Mr. John Smith needs to be that kind of an employer for his business to grow. The divine has related to the people in Jew and Greek and Hebrew in a certain way that he deemed